Cognitivism. Cognitivism, supported by Gestalt psychologists, is the acquisition of knowledge and skill by mental or cognitive processes. The result of learning, watching, touching, or experiencing are key points in cognitive learning. Processes of cognitive learning include creating mental representations of objects and events, as well as other forms of information processing. Some basic principles are: the student is actively participating while learning. The building blocks of knowledge are highly emphasized. Structuring and organizing information assists the learner with problem solving, and learning is viewed as the student taking on an active role, which can be influenced by the learner. One of the main focuses of cognitive learning is how the students remember, retrieve, and store facts in their memory. John Anderson is one of the many psychologists that support cognitive learning. He believes that the cognitive stage begins with the process of skill acquisition, where new information enters in declarative form. During this process, the student learns about facts that are relevant to the skills they are about to learn, such as descriptions of the procedure. This procedure is usually spelled out step by step. Next, the learner carries out the procedure through his or her interpretation of the verbal directions. The teacher then demonstrates what needs to be done, and the student is carefully monitoring the results. This process is carried out very slowly and requires complete attention. Cognitivism and constructivism share some similarities. However, they also differ in the process of learning. Cognitive learners rely on their prior knowledge, but constructivism involves the learners building their knowledge based on experiences and interactions. Another difference between cognitivism and constructivism is the aspect of learning. In cognitive learning, the students are taught how to do something, whereas in constructivism, the students are encouraged by the teacher to discover principles for themselves, known as self-directed learning. The main difference between these two learning theories is cognitivism uses prior knowledge and constructivism involves building new ideas or concepts. Cognitivism is carried out in the classroom by guiding the students through a project, rather than leading them. For example, if the class is doing an experiment on making a volcano, the teacher may start with a KWL, since cognitive learners use their prior knowledge. The students would begin with stating facts that they already know about volcanoes. To begin the process of making a volcano, the teacher would verbally explain the directions. Next, she would slowly demonstrate how to make a volcano while verbalizing the step-by-step instructions. The outcome of this project and learning process not only depends on what the teacher presents, but what the student does to process the information. A cognitive teacher enforces limits and controls on the students, but simultaneously encourages them to be independent. If a student is misbehaving, she politely asks him or her to behave, but does so with a firm tone in her voice. She also thoroughly explains her reasoning behind rules and decisions in the classroom. During a discussion, the teacher is open to the students' opinions and likes an environment where students have the opportunity to learn while practicing their communication skills. A cognitive teacher has a very caring attitude toward her students. She often writes positive comments on their homework and gives them verbal praise. Overall, cognitivism involves the student learning by listening, watching, touching, reading, experiencing, and then processing and remembering the information. It relies heavily on prior knowledge and thorough step-by-step directions given by the teacher. Communication is key, and the focus of cognitive instruction is to create learning by encouraging the student to use learning strategies related to their current project or assignment.